Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of the Oshkosh West Index podcast. I am your host, Hunter Willis, joined by my co-host, Joe Mayo, and we are here with special guest, ex-editor-in-chief of the Oshkosh West Index, Aspen Oblewski. Hi, Aspen.
Woo! Hello. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah. So,
All right, so
what's
let's
life
get
been like
started.
after West?
Uh,
What?
What's life been like after West?
yeah, we have to cut off
Um,
that first part.
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's been great. My skin has gotten clearer. I've seen the brighter days of not being in high school. I realized how much I hated it. I do miss some of my teachers, but I feel like I have a lot more freedom, ironically, in the middle of a pandemic.
So, what for everyone who doesn't know, what college are you going to, and what are you majoring in?
I'm going to the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, and I started off as a biochem major, and then I realized I can't do chemistry for that long because I don't like it. So I'm currently undecided, and I went through like a million different phases because everyone who knows me knows that I am very undecisive. So now I'm kind of considering going into law of some sort, but I don't know yet. So I'm doing my meds, and I'm discovering different things that I like, and we'll see where that takes me.
Okay, so how has Stevens Point managed COVID this far?
Pretty decently. They do mandate masks like everywhere, besides if you're like showering or in your room, which obviously. And you can eat, like there's a lot of like places that are like open, so you can take your mask off there, but I'm not a huge fan of that because for obvious reasons. Um our school's like a lot smaller than a lot of other like Wisconsin schools, and I think that we're actually doing pretty well. I've seen a couple people be bad at like remembering their masks. There's this one kid who I work at the front desk, and there's this one kid who always comes and asks me for another mask, and I'm like, literally, how are you getting into places? But and I guess like there's been some weeks where our cases have been really low, and we also have to get one of those like little nostril tests every 2 weeks. So I think they're doing pretty well. I think they're doing better than other schools. Cough, cough, UW Madison.
So, actually, moving on to that point, how have parties been a huge problem? I know UW Madison, there's been some rumbling going on that like students partying has been a huge COVID problem. Has that been a problem with Stevens Point too, or has it just kind of been everyone's been kind of sticking to their rooms?
I honestly don't think so. Like I don't hear a lot of like nonsense, I guess. Like if people are going to like quote parties, I think a lot of them are like still like responsible sizes, and like I know a lot of outside events they still make you wear like masks and stuff. So honestly, I don't think, and again, it probably could have to do with the size of the school. I don't hear too many people like partying it up, and I haven't seen that many. And it probably is because like Madison is like a million times bigger, but um I also just feel like people here are a little bit more responsible. Sorry, but I just feel like they kind of care a little bit more here.
Yeah, that's like what you've been telling me about, like all the precautions and like the mask mandates and whatnot. Like that's like some really like top level precautions from a college, and I don't know if I've ever heard of like, or if I've heard of any colleges around the area doing like anything that drastic, and that actually makes me really happy for UW Stevens Point there. Good job, guys.
Yeah, and like a lot of the people that I work with are also like really serious about it too. They like um well, and also like I said, I work at the front desk, and like they make sure like every time you you come in or you leave, you have to wipe down the desk area, and you have to like wipe down the handles and like the light switches and stuff like that. Like they really try to minimize the germs and stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
like I guess now that that's happening, I realize like how disgusting people are prior to this. Like it's kind of gross that like there's some stuff that we weren't doing before this, but you know, It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I've thought about. Like after this whole COVID stuff ends, like, is there really gonna be that much of a change now?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like we're
Like,
just devolving into just immense germaphobes, and like I don't know if I want to return to the way we were before. You know?
yeah, no, I feel like I'm gonna like feel naked without a mask in public.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to ask this question just because I want to bring up a good point about your former coworker, Peyton Willis.
Oh my god.
So, do you have any like weird or fun classes that you're taking right now at Stevens Point?
Ooh, weird or fun classes. So a lot of the gen eds are kind of like,
Yeah.
math and stuff like that. I am taking a class next semester that I signed up for. Hopefully, I guess I have to register for the class.
Mhm.
But it's like psychology of like adolescents and like children's brains, and like I'm really excited for that. Um
Wow.
and I'm also, this isn't like a crazy weird class, but I'm taking philosophy, and I didn't think that I would like it as much as I do, because it's such a strange like class. Like
Mm.
it's like, I don't know, it's all like, I've never taken a class like philosophy before, and I actually really like it because it's kind of like the whole class is just like like you're just talking about ideas, and like you get tested on other people's thoughts. It's so weird, but like no, none yet that I can say are like super weird. But I guess I'm only a freshman, so we'll see.
Yeah, my brother is in a like it's this weird like branch of an archaeology class, and he took it because like he needed an extra class, and it's
Mhm.
literally like dinosaurs. It's
Ooh.
just the classes. He keeps calling it his dinosaur class.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's he says that like that's one of his favorite classes, and then at one point he texts our group chat and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop being a art major and be a dinosaur major," because he thought it was funny.
I That does sound interesting. I kind of want to look at into that. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah, I don't know, like I have no idea what the contents of it even is. I'm assuming it's something about like bones and stuff, but like I don't know. He's been very vague about his dinosaur class.
Yeah, I hear a lot about like very specific art classes, but I can't say I've heard anything about dinosaur class, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna look into it.
So, has it been like abnormally hard, like starting college, like during a pandemic instead of like on a normal basis? Like, has it been disappointing in some ways and difficult, or has it been mostly
Um,
good?
I would I would say like for the majority of people who go to college, I bet it is really disappointing because a lot of people do like going out and like meeting new people. I would not call myself an introvert at all, but like even though I technically am, um like the personality test tells me that I am one, I don't think that I am, but I'm not a huge like go out and meet new people every single day and stuff like, and also because my home life was very like, I always had to constantly be doing something. It's very nice to come here and just be like, I get to make my own day. I
Mm.
can sleep until noon if I want to. Like, no one's telling me what to do. So, starting college, at first, I was really scared about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's going to be so weird because of the pandemic. But honestly, this is kind of ideal for me. Like, I get to, I get to go to Target. What? Joseph?
Joe's got some
What?
echo going on.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. But yeah, it's like isn't I just get to like go to Target, get my frozen meals, come back and do some math homework and take a nap. It's like
Right.
that's what I love doing.
That's the life right there, man.
The move-in was a little annoying though because it was like extremely hot that day,
Mm.
and we could only have a couple people come in with you at a time. Like I think it was two, so it was like mainly me and my mom and my dad, and we had to like take those like giant bins of my stuff and go in and out, and it was like
Mm.
I had to like only those two could come in at once. Then like my grandma and my brother were all they also came with, so then like they had to swap out, and it was like it was a lot, but luckily there wasn't that many people moving in at the same time, so
Mm.
that was fine.
I never even.
So, segueing into when you said frozen meals, it made me think about a topic we talked about earlier. If you could pick one meal to be your death row last meal, what would you choose and why?
Okay. Well, do you guys want to give your answers while I think of mine?
Sure, Joe. You go first.
All right. So, I think it honestly just have to be really simple, just a medium rare Wagyu steak. Just nice and simple, keep it easy.
I'm gonna be
Baked
honest, not a real
potatoes.
steak fan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Not a meat fan. I'm a vegetarian, so I guess I'm the same.
I just I'll eat like a steak sandwich or like steak mixed in with something else, but like I feel like you just put a slab of meat in front of me and I'm just like, why?
If
That's
it's
how I
cooked,
feel about tomatoes.
Ooh, yeah, I feel that.
if it's cooked the right way, you'll like it just how it is.
Hmm. I don't know about that, but all right, mine is it's almost a no-brainer for me at this point, and it's really making me mad that I can't get it because Noodles and Company has been frequently closed because of COVID stuff, and like obviously I'm glad that they're closed and not staying open because of COVID stuff, but like
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to Noodles and Company of Oshkosh because like this is the greatest thing I've ever had. You ready? It's the spicy Korean barbecue with marinated steak in it. That is my favorite meal of all time. I would hands down like it. I wouldn't even blink. They'd be like, "Hey, what do you want for your last meal?" And I'd be like, "This, 100%."
Okay. So, as you're thinking about it, I have been acquainted with the brand Amy's, and they're like a frozen meal. Like, I guess like I read on the box, Amy made this brand because her daughter was like allergic and like sensitive to a bunch of different things.
Mm.
So it's like meatless products, and there's like it's like dairyless or something. And they make this one thing, and it's like chili macaroni and cheese, but it's just like beans and like it's vegetarian chili mac and cheese. It is so good. It's I've literally never had something so good like come out of a frozen meal thing. So I think I would have that. And then I would have a big glass of chocolate milk because when I like drink it too fast, it hurts my stomach, but I'll be dead. So it's fine.
That's very true. The glass of chocolate milk is just, I think, the icing on the cake
Yeah,
right
right
there. I
there.
think you'd have to have that glass of chocolate milk.
Got a full sun, man.
And then I would die happy.
Exactly. As long as you got the chair before the bowel movement kicked in, you'd be fine. And I didn't even think about like there's more aspects to it than just the noodles. I got to think of something else that I would have with it.
Yeah.
I
Have
don't know.
anything that's going to cause you future problems, like, because it won't matter in 5 minutes.
Right.
So people who are like lactose intolerant go crazy on the ice cream.
Yeah, I don't have like a food allergy. I'm allergic to like just about everything else you can think of, but not food.
Mm. I'm allergic to cats, but I don't want to eat one, so I'll pet a cat or something, and then I'll die.
It's nice. Cat is probably the last animal I would pick as my last like pet, you know.
Last pet.
Yeah, it was cool.
Last pet.
A nice dog, nice fluffy dog,
Right. That'd be better.
or like a dangerous animal, I guess, because you could be
Ooh.
like, I'm gonna go out petting a dangerous animal. You could be the only person in the world that's pet the animal
That's
because it's
true.
dangerous. It'll kill you, but you'll be dead anyways.
Yeah, like you could like they
Death
could
by piranha.
like I don't know if I'd want to die by a ferocious animal attack, but like
But like when you look at like a grizzly bear, aren't you like, oh fluffy, I want to pet it.
Every time I see a grizzly bear.
Yeah, I'm like,
Dude,
look at a baby.
get in trouble all the time from just going up to grizzly bears and just petting them.
Yeah.
We actually had like a
So,
black bear sighting in Oshkosh like this week. There
I
were
don't
like,
know if I'm like dreaming this, but I feel like I saw one when I was younger. At
hmm.
like my aunt's cabin, I feel like there was one. Maybe I'm dreaming this.
I feel like I've definitely heard of a few sightings in Oshkosh before. This
Yeah.
isn't like anything new, but
Well, like
interesting.
It was like in the cemetery though, which is kind of like in the city, so it's a little odd.
Aw, they're welcome to stay.
Yeah, it was like a mom and like their little kid, and they were like in a tree.
Aw.
Yeah.
So speaking of dangerous animals, let's talk about the election.
Let's go.
Right. That's the segue of
So
the century, Joe.
So let's just hear your thoughts on this election, being a registered voter. This is your
Okay.
first election, right? So just give
Yes,
us
it
your thoughts
is.
on it.
Okay, so I turned 18 in May and I registered to vote, I think over the summer. I had my friend's boyfriend help me because he's older than me and I am dumb and I didn't know how. And can I give my
Yeah.
who I voted for? Okay, okay. I did vote for Biden. Because for obvious reasons, am not a fan of the current president, but Joe Biden did win. And I will say that was a weight that was lifted off my shoulders. I don't think I've ever been that happy in my life. I will say he's not the best person in the world because
Mhm.
I'm still a Bernie girl, but it's fine. And so I think that this election was really important because of all of the things that Trump has done. And the the amount of worry that I had for a lot of minority groups, I was like, he has to win or something.
Hmm.
Like it'll be very bad, especially because of all the Trump supporters. And like I know that a lot of them are. I'm not gonna say all of them because
Yeah.
I'm just like know that a lot of times that people who support Trump can be violent after, especially if he lost. That would be bad. Like I literally like the day he won, I didn't even go into Walmart because I saw someone walk in with a Confederate flag shirt on,
Yikes.
and I said, "No, I'm not going in."
Yep.
But this election, I was really involved, and my school has UWSP Dems, which like we did a lot of like phone banking. So you call registered voters and you say, "Hey, who you voting for? You should vote for Biden. Go make a plan." And I did that a couple times, and I think that that made a difference. I think
Nice.
there's some people who were undecided, and I gave them reasons of what they should vote for Biden. And I think it really ended up um, turning out. So
That's
I can't
awesome.
say this was the best election, but I'm happy with the outcome.
Yeah, yeah. I think, regardless of what side you support, like whether you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, regardless, I think we can unanimously agree that this is kind of a shocking result, and I didn't really see this one coming.
Yeah, neither did any of my like I had a coworker who on the day of the election he had a Biden Harris shirt and he came in and he was like, "Yeah, I'm nervous. I don't think he's gonna win." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, it's too early. You can't say that yet. Don't put that in the air."
Hmm.
I believe in manifesting.
So what do you think about the fraud claims from the Trump campaign? Do you think
I
there's any validity to it, or?
I think it's like it's gonna happen every year, like by the other side. It always happens, and I hate the two-party system and that we have to do that. I do understand why a lot of people were skeptical about it because it did seem to line up very perfectly. Like, of course, election year would have a pandemic where you'd have mail-in votes, and you could do that. But the problem is like there is no validity to them because it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people love to be like, oh, well, you can't say it didn't happen because people were saying that Russia tampered with Trump's win. But like, the problem is like, there is truth to one of those statements and there is not truth to the other one. And it's not that they both have to be fake or true. Like you have to delve into them as separate things.
Right.
So I just think it's like that it was proven false. So like it's not rocket science.
Yeah, there's not a ton of like, I think regardless of what side, I'm trying to stay as nonpartisan here as I can. But like regardless of what side you're on, it's kind of hard to look at the reaches of the Trump administration at this point in like filing lawsuits against like Michigan, Wisconsin, I believe Pennsylvania as well. It's hard to look at like any of the real damning evidence as actual like valid like proof of anything. Like I believe like there was an Arizona court case where like their like sole piece of evidence was a post-it note that said like something like they told me to change the dates, and like that was their key evidence in the whole
Oh,
case, so they scrapped it because that's stupid. But
there was a drag queen that I follow on TikTok, and she made a TikTok, and it was like, if you voted blue, like watch this, but if you didn't, keep scrolling. And it was like, did you guys send in your illegal votes? Like, did you send them? And people in the comments were like, stop, because they're gonna actually use this as evidence.
yeah, gonna take that one to court and be like, hey, look.
They're like, delete this. You're too comfortable on this app.
I think, personally, there's really hasn't been that many cases of voter fraud ever. It's like 1,300. You can look this up. It's a fact. I forget the website, but it's like right around under 1,300 instances of voter fraud. And there's no way that there would have even been more than that this election.
Yeah.
I don't think that even if there was a few instances of voter fraud, it would have like affected like the actual outcome.
I think in like every election, like in at least in recent American history, as I feel like it's become easier with technology, and even if you think mail-in votes are easier to make fraudulent, then yeah, as of late, it's become easier, and I'm using air quotes that you can't see, but like even in this instance where like, oh, it's easier to make fraudulent votes, it's still insurmountably difficult to do, and every election has a certain amount of fraudulent votes, but the thing is that they are never enough to sway the results of an election.
Right.
And these claims of like 200,000 completely false votes being like dumped in Pennsylvania is just insane. It's
I always... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna like wrap up my thing with
No.
like, it's just an insane claim to make, and especially in like, because like if you take a look at the electoral votes right now, it's not necessarily one state is the reason that Joe Biden won. You would have to take away like 6 states from him in order and give it to Trump in order for it to be like an actual difference in the election. So you're claiming that all 6 of these states, at the state level, we're all in on it, and we're like, hey, we got to overthrow Donald Trump. We got to do this. We got to scrap 200,000 votes together real quick.
A lot of people were also saying, like, why wouldn't they also like get the like the Senate and like other like
Oh yeah,
different
right.
places? Why would you just want one of them? Because you'd want to like have as much power as possible. And yeah, maybe they're like, oh, it's gonna look too obvious, but like, I just don't think that would happen.
Exactly.
I don't think they would care.
Like the Senate is arguably more important at some points, you know? Why wouldn't you go for one and not the other?
And I also think, like, this is what I was saying. I was like, if you are going to say that you believe in these, like, conspiracies about it, but then you, like, if someone's like, hey, I think the moon landing was fake, and you're like, wow, what an idiot. Why would you believe that? You are a hypocrite. Because if you're believing one crazy theory and not the other one, like, you are dumb, and I hate you. You don't get to, like, call people crazy for believing something, like, but then you believe something just as crazy, but it just goes with your views. Like, you should be open to a lot of people's theories, because the government isn't your friend as much as like you want to be a bootlicker. Like, you like have to realize, like, the government literally, like, nobody in the government likes you. Nobody cares about you. I promise. Except maybe AOC. But like I promise, like we need to work on like coming together as a nation, instead of just being like, oh, well, I am on this side because blah blah blah. Like, it's just so sad to see like a country so divided.
Some fiery quotes from Aspen Oblewski here. Got some passion in that monologue.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
It's kind of like odd. I don't know. This is kind of for me, like 4 years ago, 2016. I was not I was 11, right? I didn't really pay attention to like politics. This is like my first election that I've actually been like invested in, and I've actually like had cared a deep amount about. And like, is it normal for people to keep their yard signs up like days after the results are over?
That's a good
I think
question.
both sides. I think on both sides you should just take them down. Like,
Yeah.
the election's over. You're not swaying anyone else.
Exactly. Like, I guess good job, like, voting, but, like,
Maybe if you won, then you could be like, "Hey, I was on the right side."
yeah, but, like, the margin, like, I've seen mostly Trump ones still up. Like, I've seen a lot of people take down their Biden ones, and, like, this isn't, like, bashing Trump supporters in any way, but, like, I'm seeing, like, these Trump ones, and I'm like, whatever side you're on, he is not the person who's on top right now. Like,
Maybe it's like kind of like a Christmas tree thing where you're just too lazy to take it down, but you
right.
know that you should.
like I've seen, yeah, especially with, like, because the ones I'm talking about are the ones who have, like, 12 yard signs and a flag, so
Oh my God, I have one down the street.
yeah, I would. Yeah, it's probably too difficult to take that down just like that. You got to hold out
Oh,
hope for these
yeah,
fraudulent
maybe.
votes.
Yeah, maybe it's like accepting a loss, so it's like hard to.
Hmm.
I was gonna equate it to like losing a family member and like cleaning up their room.
Oh my gosh.
It's like taking their thing down is like accepting your loss.
We went completely different ways. I was gonna make an analogy about, like, lowering your Packer flag when they lose or something like that.
It's like maybe it's just like it's hard to admit defeat.
Mm,
I don't know, because yeah, like the last election, 2016, yeah, I was 14. I didn't really know anything, and obviously I'm not gonna go out and buy a yard sign at 14.
right.
So I guess I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Question. Because I saw a lot of people saying like Trump supporters, are you just gonna keep it up, like, or are you gonna take it down?
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't have a yard sign. I don't know, but, like, I mean,
Yeah, same. Either way.
it's like,
But
I
also
just, you can
my
go.
house is divided, so
Ooh. Yeah,
we could have
same
both.
here.
My house actually leveled out.
Ooh.
There was one vote on either side. So, yeah, no yard signs for us.
Yep. So,
I
while we're talking
well, actually, yeah, about the yard sign thing, I still see people with 2020 graduate signs up. So,
maybe,
Yeah, I think that's really funny too. I've seen those everywhere.
we took it down sometime in the summer. Like, I think that you can just move on now. We're in college.
right, they're like finishing their first semester right now, and
If we still had it up, I'd been like, Mom, let's move on.
So I guess that begs a good question. Do you think the class of 2021, my current class, is gonna have to be a yard sign class as well?
That is a good question. Okay, well, I I think maybe there is a possibility of you not having to do that just because I guess if Biden actually is in January and he's like, "Oh, we're going to defeat the virus," which is like hard to
Mhm.
determine if he will actually do what he says. But a lot of people are saying that they want another like they think that other countries did like a month shutdown where the only things open were like grocery stores and like
Mm.
mail places. Um and they think that that is like something that really wipes it out. So honestly, I don't think Americans are cognitive enough to do that. I think that they're selfish by nature. So
Yeah.
I think that there is a good chance that you guys might have to be a yard sign graduation, but also I would ask Mr. Scott because he is very good at telling the future. He was right about everything that happened so far.
Mm.
So get him on it and ask him.
Yeah, if Trump doesn't declare himself king for life, I think we'll be pretty, we'll be in a better place in the
Like, this is
coronavirus.
like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I think honestly, it's just the 7 stages of grief right now.
Right.
You just have to let him take his time and process. Because I
Yep.
feel
Step
like
one, denial.
any human in that position of power would definitely not want to give it up the way he's having to give it up.
Yeah.
Just trying to look at both sides. Like, I just think that it's definitely he's in a hard position where if anyone was like the president, they wouldn't really want to give up that office, and it's a big change too. But I mean, still, he did lose.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you could a counter argument to that would be I think I saw it like 128 years straight we've had somebody concede in the election, at some point, and we have not had that yet. So it would be
Yeah.
deliberately breaking 128 years of both Democrats and Republicans conceding when they do lose.
And the big thing is yet though, because I feel like once he realizes that the voter fraud thing is that's not going to pan out for him, I
Hmm.
feel like he'll do the right thing. He'll put his big boy pants on, as the Philadelphia mayor said.
Yeah, I mean,
Good guess.
I think it's been entertaining to kind of see like um, we've seen a lot of like like people Republicans in power right now kind of like distance themselves from President Trump since this election. Has the results have come in, and I don't know if that's like because he lost or because of the way he's acting about the loss. But like Chris Christie, like we've seen a bunch of people just like openly denounce what he's doing,
Hmm.
and like I
Ben
think that's very
Shapiro.
interesting. Ben Shapiro.
He was like, he's wrong, and he is wrong about this, and he didn't win because it was like when he said he was like, I win,
Mm.
with by a lot of votes, and Ben Shapiro was like, no, he didn't. And it's like it's weird because people were like, wow, like I agree with him for once.
Yeah, that Shapiro impression was spot on.
Yeah, as much as I hate him, I love hearing him talk. Okay, I don't hate him. I don't hate
Yeah.
him. I dislike the things he said.
Yeah, like it. I don't hate the man. He seems like I've seen the picture of him in a cowboy hat and he looked cute. So, but like, I
video,
disagree with his politics, but it's
the
whatever.
video of him saying like, "Of course I have gay fans. I mean, why wouldn't I?"
Yeah,
It's so funny.
what a man.
Yeah, it is interesting to see like a lot of people who liked Trump before they were like, okay, not anymore. Because I've seen like there's used to be a lot of people who were like really passionate about it, and now it's more of like, well, I guess I like him more than Biden, and it's like weird to see people like that.
Yeah, he definitely lost a lot of his audience in between this year and last year. We have a lot of people who either didn't vote or like voted independently or voted for Trump that just like straight up switched. And like it's hard to imagine a different result. Like back like a month ago, I would never have expected this to happen, but like now that I'm looking at it, it makes sense because of just how like divided sometimes. Like whether or not you're on his side or not, he was a very divisive man, and he would pit both like sides of the political spectrum against each other very frequently, and I think
Right.
that lost a lot of the vote for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I actually just saw someone who I assume that he voted for Trump because that's what he would say while we were in high school together.
Hmm.
But I just saw him like on Snapchat story like go off about how like the like government is like trying to pit us against each other and he shouldn't listen to them and stuff. And it was like weird to see someone who was so like Trumpified that like actually think like yeah like the government really is like trying to pit us against each other. And I don't know, it's just kind of like it's sad to see that because I've I know that it obviously happened like before because like I've only seen Obama and Trump as president, so I don't know what
Right.
happened prior to that. But I feel like it every year just gets more divisive because the two um like candidates are so far like a they're just so like exact puppets of their side,
Right.
and there's no like middle ground. It's just like fully like you are either this side or this side. And it's sad to see that because it divides family so much. Like Thanksgiving would be so awkward this year.
Right.
But I'll have a good Thanksgiving this year. I'm the winner this year.
Nice.
But yeah, it's sad to see.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. Like I feel like this has gotten very like one-sided, and I feel bad for the listeners that maybe disagree with our politics. But one thing that I loved about like Joe Biden's campaign, and it was heartwarming every time that he would say that he's going to be a president for the people that didn't vote for him. Because
Yeah.
that's what I've been like waiting for the past 4 years is like I just want someone who represents the American public and not just big conservative, or big liberal. It goes both
Yeah.
ways.
And like I remember like while like they were campaigning, Trump was like, if I lose this state, I'm never coming back here again. Like what? Like what? That's not
Yeah.
good to say.
That's a red
He did
flag
also
right
say he
there.
was leaving the country. He said he was leaving the country if he lost.
Yeah, he did say that too.
You individually like threaten every state you go to, and then you're like, I will never speak again, and I will leave the country if I lose. Well, it's like this doesn't look good for you.
Yeah.
It's not even like I as much as people love to think this about me, I do not hate Republicans. I don't hate people for their political views. I will hate you if you like hate minority groups. Like that's not that's not an intolerant thing to say. Like if you don't like, I don't know, anyone who doesn't look like you, I probably don't like you.
Yep.
But I don't hate Republicans, and I'm sure if there was a good like Republican candidate, I would be like, okay, I respect you. But the problem is like when you put Trump up there as your candidate, that's what makes people like drive away from the Republican Party as a whole. Like there's so many respectful good Republicans out there, but they're like, here's Donald Trump.
Exactly.
This is what you're looking at. It's like I don't hate Republicans, but if you like actively love Trump, like I probably don't like you.
Yeah. And I was actually talking to my mom about this the other day, and I thought it brought up a very interesting point. I was basically saying that, this Trump loss, if not handled correctly by the GOP and the Republican Party, like, we've seen it a couple times throughout American history, and I could definitely see it happening again. This could be the demise of the Republican Party if they mishandle this. Because if they, like, during the next election in 4 years, in 2024, if they don't bring forth a candidate that openly denounces the Trump administration, I think that they have a very slim chance of winning that election. And same with the next one. I feel like Trump has just deterred such an audience away from that political party that it might be hard to win an election in the near future. And that is dangerous for Republicans, I think.
Because it's like it's literally like putting the Grinch up and then being like, okay guys, we'll have a good candidate next year.
Right.
It's like oh my god, I can't believe he like won. Like in the first place, I can't believe he was like enough to be against Hillary, but him winning against Hillary is the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly just that at the time people found him very refreshing, that he spoke his mind. I feel like a lot of people looked at him that way, and they kind of ignored a lot of, maybe not that great of a guy, but, he speaks his mind, which can really connect with a lot of people in a way, which I can understand why people would vote for him. So
I think it's great when you speak your mind, but the problem is like when it's like one, hate speech, or two, just incorrect. Like I think that's the problem. It's like, of course, if a candidate speaks their mind, I'm like, well, that's really good. That's a good thing that you should have in a candidate. But when it's just like not good things coming out of their mouth, it's like how good can it be?
It's gonna be refreshing for me at least to see, like, even if Joe Biden uses a teleprompter, which I have no problem with because he has a speech impediment, right? So like him using a teleprompter, I'm excited to hear a presidential speech and not just words falling out of somebody's mouth.
I didn't know that was a negative stereotype.
Oh, yeah. So, I saw this thing right before the election, and Trump like straight up called out Joe Biden for using a teleprompter at like one of Trump's rallies. He was like, "Yeah, dude, use a teleprompter, can't speak words," and like that was enough to sway like the audience, the target demographic.
Oh my god! Yeah. I see a lot of that too. It's like people joking about his speech impediment. It's like I understand why you would vote for such a hateful man if you're the one also hate. Like It's the same people who do that are the ones going to like, this is a controversial statement. When you go to like care days and you're also hanging out with people with other disabilities, but then you turn around and you make fun of someone like a presidential candidate because of the way that they stutter, you suck. You are such a horrible person. And I literally like they know that. They know that they suck, but they don't care. And that's so horrible. Like it's like that's such a horrible mindset to have. Like you're like, I can make fun of people as long as it doesn't like hurt me or like not
Right.
benefit me. Like what is wrong with you?
It's easy to make fun of a disability when you haven't met the person, and then like
Yeah.
completely have a double standard when it comes to other people who are actually in your life with a disability.
Or when you can make an Instagram post about them. Like, okay,
Right.
okay. You look like such a good person on your
Right.
Instagram. But then in real life, you suck.
So, sort of wrapping up here because we're
Yeah.
getting to the time.
Yep.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on what you think it means to have our first female vice president and how that's a step forward for America.
I think that it is wonderful. I wish that it would have been a different woman, but as much as she isn't my favorite person in the world, she has done a lot of things that I don't agree with. I do think it is incredible that there are so many young women who get to see that and say like there is a chance for me to be like to make a difference in this world. And it's finally like there's such a high spot that maybe she's not quite like we're not in the presidential chair yet, but like as a vice president, that's so amazing that we finally have someone who isn't just a white guy in office. That is incredible. And I do love the fact that she is now such like a big advocate for like I'm so excited for like little girls to like I saw like there was some videos of little girls looking on the screen and they were like so excited to hear a woman talk with such a big title, and I would like to see more of it. And I feel like I have seen a lot more of it as of recently too. But it is refreshing to see. And I am so excited to never see Mike Pence's face again.
All right. Well, I think that is all the time we have for today. It was a great episode. You know, this is one of the longer ones, but that's all right. A lot of important topics discussed. Thank you for coming on the show, Aspen.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, hope you had a good time.
I had a wonderful time.
I'm glad. All right. So, that's going to wrap it up for episode 3 of the Index Podcast. As always, I'm Hunter Willis, joined by my co-host,
Joe Mayo, and I thank everyone who got to this point in the video. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day, night. Peace.